Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. Here on the official website you can see that 1.16 pre-release 1 is now out. So this means that we're getting closer to the release of 1.16, and pre-releases are usually release candidates. However, this one's got some quite big changes in it, so I think we can expect to see a couple more pre-releases before we're there. And let's jump into it. This first change is to building in creative mode. If you've ever played around with water and buckets, it can be a little bit of a pain, but it's now been changed. So if you use an empty bucket on water, it'll give you a water bucket. And then if I continue to use it, it doesn't give me any more water buckets. If I throw this away, it's then going to give me another water bucket. Pretty cool, right? And if I do it the other way around, nothing changes. So you'll want to keep the empty bucket in your inventory. Now this change also applies to cows and mushrooms because you can milk them, so you can now do that in creative mode, and the same goes for using a bowl on a mushroom to get a mushroom stew. So last snapshot we saw some improvements for data pack support, and once again it's going to be capable of detecting more critical issues when loading up data packs. But right here on the create new world screen, you can see we actually have a data packs button. So when you're creating a new world, you can preload them in so you can load up the world with the data packs ready to go. Now there's a button to open up the data pack folder, but what you can also do is actually drag and drop them onto the Minecraft screen. So here's a bunch from the Vanilla Tweaks website, and I just drop them in over here, and you can see the list actually goes over the options, but then I click yes and it puts them all in here. I've also done a test to see if they support icons yet, which doesn't seem to be a thing, but I'm guessing we're probably going to see that real soon, the ability to add icons to our data packs. So this now means when I click create new world, these data packs will be included inside of it and they'll all be copied to the correct location for you. There's also another feature as well. When you click on recreate and you recreate a world, whatever data packs are in there will now be in the new world that you're creating. The smithing table is also now supported inside of a data pack. This means you can make your own custom recipes. Basically, you can choose what item goes in this slot, that one, and then what the outcome is, which is really similar to crafting, so not the most exciting thing, but support for the smithing table. And while we're on the topic of data packs, if ever you come to my website, xisumavoid.com, on the left-hand side of your screen is Vanilla Tweaks, and then you can go to the data packs section, and that's where you can grab all of the data packs that you saw in the video just a moment ago. One thing to remind you though, when you do download them, this file right here needs to be unzipped, and then inside of that is where you'll find the data packs to drag and drop into your world. Next up, we have some big changes to neutral mobs behavior when going between aggressive and neutral. This adds in some new game rules to the game and addresses many issues that have been reported on the bug tracker. So here's a few examples. A neutral mob that becomes aggressive, like an Enderman, can be aggressive at you. Obviously I'm in creative right now, so it won't. And then you can simply log out of the world and back in, and then it will be neutral again. This has been considered an issue to be fixed. So let's say you've got a skeleton or perhaps a blaze trying to shoot you, and it accidentally hits a zombified piglin. Then that mob dies, the zombified piglins then become angry at you, and we've probably all experienced this at one point or another as Minecrafters. The same thing can happen if a skeleton accidentally hits a bee. The bee can then become aggressive at you, the player. And an aggressive bee will actually continue to attack the player after the player has died and respawned. So if you consider these things a bug or not, Mojang does, and they've decided to implement some changes that make for more consistent gameplay. So there are two changes. First of all, an angered neutral mob is now simply going to attack the target that it's angered at and not anything else. And then once the player dies, they are no longer going to be angry at their target. So one of these new game rules is universal anger, and it is set to false by default. If we were to set it to true, it means that the mobs would become aggressive at any player nearby, not just the player that angered them. The second game rule is forgive dead players. This means once you die, the angered mob will forgive you or no longer be aggressive. This is set to true by default, so if you set it to false, that mob will still be angry after you've died and respawned. And so the idea here is to turn these changes into game rules so that you can change them back to how they used to be if you preferred the game that way. So this means if you're playing with a friend and they anger a bunch of zombie pigmen, then you can simply just stand and watch them attack your friend and they won't come after you. And of course, if you've angered them yourself and they kill you, when you die and go to get your items back, they're not going to be angry at you. I actually think these are really good changes for the Nether, because it can be a pretty brutal place if you get stuck in a death cycle where you're respawning and you can't get back to your items. So I think it makes the game a little easier overall. This, my friends, is absolutely hilarious. Look, there's no Nether or End Dimension in this update. And if I go through this Nether portal, it actually crashes the game. So we can't go to the Nether in this pre-release. Obviously, that's got to be a bug. Anyway, I was going to head there to find a naturally spawning Nether fortress, as Piglins are now going to attack wither skeletons, right? By default, is what it says in the list of changes. Yep, look, they're going after them. I actually want to do this with one that doesn't get attacked first. Yep, look at that. They're going to go after the wither skeleton. And I've just found out in this update you can now get access to custom dimensions using data packs. So one of the developers tweeted out a data pack and created a custom dimension called Custom LOL. So we're going to teleport there for the first time. I got no idea what to expect. Kind of looks like regular terrain, right? Or maybe it's something like deserts and whatnot forever. Also, it's daytime and mobs are spawning, and they're not burning up. That's interesting. Right. So pretty cool that you can do this through a data pack, right? But here is the two files inside of this data pack. So low is the dimension, and as you can see, there is some information about how it generates built into this. But also over here, these options like ambient light. So if it's 0, does that mean the light level everywhere is 0? These settings I have not seen before, and they look interesting. Yep, even though it's daytime, the light level for sky and block is 0, and that's why mobs can spawn everywhere. Fascinating. This is really opening up the potential for the game now, right? Custom dimensions just through a data pack? That's going to be absolutely amazing. And I've just noticed how the world has decided to generate here. People, you know, if you play on snapshots or pre-releases, make sure you got backups of your world. This is why. So anyway, there is a change with water potions, the splash and the lingering ones. These will now damage snow golems, and the other mob that they damage is the strider. Yep, there you go, it's taking damage from the water. Have you ever been deep underground in a cave and found a mysterious chicken and wondered, where did it come from? Well, this is no longer a thing you're going to see. It would have come from a chicken jockey like this. The problem here, that's a brilliant demonstration. The little guy can also despawn if the player goes too far away, and this then leaves the chicken. But a change in this update means that that chicken is capable of despawning as well, so then you'll find, well, you won't find any random chickens hanging out in a cave underground. Now, if you've seen my Hermitcraft series, you may have noticed I had a bunch of angry bee heads. And unfortunately, I can't show you this next fix in action because the data pack is incompatible with 1.16. But essentially, if you killed a bee, it would be angry no matter what. If you now kill a bee with a one-hit kill, it won't become angry. And this means that you're then, with that data pack, able to get both types of bee head. One that looks like my head and one that's angry. Now in this pre-release, transparency support has been added for our two new doors, the Crimson Door and the Warp Door. Now obviously they don't have a gap inside them like these ones, but if you wanted to make a custom resource or texture pack for it, then you'll now be able to have transparent elements in these two door designs. A couple of changes to advancements. The 2x2 advancement now got a little bit harder, because it will also require you to breed together donkeys and mules. So you can see here, you now need to breed 19 types of animals for this one. And there was also an oversight in the Nether advancements. You didn't get experience points for some of the challenges. So now you will get XP for completing some of these advancements. Now this update comes with a new graphical setting. If we go into options, video setting, and go over to graphics, we can change fancy to fabulous. It says here, graphics enables screen shaders to draw translucent objects per pixel. This may severely impact performance for portable devices and 4K displays. So going back into the game with this enabled, I mean, I might be imagining things. The water looks maybe slightly smoother, or maybe it's because I think I'm looking for differences now. but I really couldn't tell. If I just fired up this game with this on, it almost feels the same. The performance is great on this computer, so I'm probably not going to feel a difference between these two, but supposedly Fabulous might make the game look a little bit different, but not having the technical knowledge to know what's going on here, it just kind of feels the same to me. Also, here in a single player world, you used to have access to commands like ban, which were for multiplayer, so that made no sense in a single player world, so it's been removed. And there are two other categories of bug fix which cropped up quite a lot. The consistency of the hand animation being activated came up for quite a few different interactions in this game. And the other group of bug fixes for which there were quite a lot were called casting issues. This is where particle effects get offset when your coordinates are really high in the world, so teleported like 300,000 blocks out, and this could create some issues with where particle effects appear for various different blocks and features of the game. And beyond that, I didn't really feel like there were any other bug fixes worth talking about, so it's time to wrap up this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like, of course. I'll be covering the other pre-releases leading up to this 1.16 update, so make sure you're subscribed. And if you're looking for something to watch and you didn't see yesterday's episode of Hermitcraft, well, it was a real good one, so be sure to go and check it out. Link on the screen and all of that good stuff. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.